We are currently at Coca-Cola's bottling plant in West Bengal, and I have with me Mr. T. Krishnakumar, who is going to tell us what 2019 really looked like for Coca-Cola in India and what 2020 actually has in store for the company and what does the future hold. Thank you so much for joining us on BloombergQuint, sir. 2019, as global, the parent has said to investors on its con call, saw strong growth. You've also increased distribution. You added more customers during this period. India was one of the strong growing markets. You've become the 5th largest market for Coca-Cola in terms of volumes as well. What was it really like, this entire journey? Where did you see? Because we saw the economy also seeing an impact. What really helped Coca-Cola actually tide over the entire uncertainty and also do a good job?
Well, we had set for ourselves a clear approach to how we're going to make the India journey in the year 2017. This was actually based on 3 fundamental pillars. One was we wanted to grow the core, which was the portfolio we had. Secondly, we said we will make an extension in terms of portfolio which will cover local and hyper-local products. Plus, we were able to also look at communication which engaged the Indian consumer. And the third area was we said we will actually interface with one of the socio-economic pillars of India, which was fruit farming in India. So we had been building our capabilities in all these 3 areas, and 2019 saw us really get the benefits of this consistent strategy that we have been following. We really were firing on all cylinders, with the core really starting to come to life through our ability to horizontally expand. What do I mean by horizontal expansion? We were able to increase the number of people who are drinking our product at one level, and we were able to increase the number of people who are selling our product. So in fact, in just about 2.5 years' time, we have added about 20 lakh new outlets who sell our products. So this horizontal approach had its own great benefit, giving us very robust double-digit growth in our core business.
Okay, so where did you most aggressively push for distribution? In which part of the country did you actually increase your distribution in India, which actually saw you actually witnessing this kind of strong growth rate?
This has been a pan-India effort. It's not that we did it in one region. I mean, every place we moved it up based on where we were. So that's why the traction has been so good. This has been an all-round growth in India across all regions. This was one part, one leg of it. Second, we did make some good foray into local and hyper-local offerings. We were able to intersect this with our work in the fruit circular economy, which saw us launch a whole range of products which were either juice or sparkling with juice. This again gave us serious traction. The third area which really benefited us quite a lot was, last time I had shared that we have segmented India into the rich people who can afford any price, the middle class, and the people who struggle to afford price. So we now have offerings which straddle all 3 segments. And the biggest advantage we now have is, if you can afford 10 rupees, we have something which is pretty good to refresh you at 10 rupees. If you want a very expensive product with multiple ingredients, we still have it for you. These 3 things really drove growth for us while we scaled up our fruit circular economy and our local and hyper-local connect through more than just portfolio, through marketing.
Okay. We've looked at some market share numbers and we've realized that due to the slowdown, a lot of consumers during the last year actually moved to sparkling beverages because it's priced at a lower price, lower price points compared to juices. And was that also one of the reasons you actually witnessed growth? Do you see consumers in India still adopting this, or in fact moving from a higher price point, say like for juices, because juices has seen a volume degrowth? But what is it really looking like? Is that one of the factors? Because you're present across both segments. And what's really working for you there?
See, the good news for us is both sparkling and juice grew very well. And what is working for us is the fact that we are offering products in every category across price slots. So that's what I said, that if a consumer wants a juice-based product at 10 rupees, we have it there. The consumer wants a juice-based product which is expensive, we are there. The same thing for sparkling, which is what has propelled us to grow well, because we are really giving the consumer a good broad portfolio which takes care of their affordability. And that has been the primary reason for success.
But do we see more products coming from your end at the entry price point levels, because with you increasing distribution at this point in time, your rural penetration increases, and that's how you actually recruit new consumers into the category. So what would we see the actual portfolio also looking like, more at the 10 rupee price point, 15 rupee price point, 20 rupees price point compared to the higher price points? Is that how the portfolio will change as well?
The portfolio will be designed appropriately. It is not that we have to give n number of offerings at a price point. We are a very consumer-centric company, and the way the consumer centricity works is at every price point, we check with the consumers what is their topmost preference, what is their preference which is not so big. And then what we do is we actually engineer our present portfolio itself by what we call as occasion, brand, pack, price architecture. So we know what's the occasion and what the consumer likes in that occasion. So we create an appropriate package at an appropriate price point. It's all about getting depth in terms of existing categories and products now. Because if you do not have the depth, you will not really be able to keep growing. So I think the next immediate future for me is to really create depth in our portfolio using this framework of OBPPC on the existing portfolio. Obviously, we have some gaps in terms of our portfolio. Those will get filled up. And whatever we bring in, we would literally have similar offerings across the three segments, so that nobody feels that, oh my God, I want to have this, but I don't have something for me.
Okay, but would we see this kind of growth rate that you saw in 2019? Actually, you said that this is all the pillars that were put in place in 2017. Now the base also increases. Will this also replicate in 2020 or will enhanced or increased distribution also help you achieve those numbers?
So I'm an eternal optimist, and I've been doing the Coke business in India now. This is my 16th year, and except for a couple of years, every year we have had serious growth. And so this is an incredible country, incredible opportunity, and if we can get our things right and ensure that we are pretty local in terms of the way we do the business, I believe the opportunity exists for years and years to come.
Okay, and what is your distribution looking like at, what have you planned in terms of expansion? How many more outlets do we see from your end, probably in the next 2 years, next 3 years, medium term? If you could just give us an idea as to where you have envisioned your distribution to increase.
See, about 3 years back, we were sitting on a distribution of about 25 lakhs or 2.5 million outlets. In the last 2.5 to 3 years, we've been literally able to double that distribution. We now are somewhere close to 5 million outlets or 50 lakh outlets. The dream in the next 3 to 5 years is to get to 80 lakh or 8 million outlets, which almost gives us an immediate penetration into 90 to 95% of the FMCG universe. That's the aspiration.
Okay, how is the rural market and the urban market panning out? From what Nielsen's data shows from the December quarter is that even urban, after being stagnant for some time, started to show a decline in growth rate. Rural has been declining for some time. How do you actually see demand at in both these markets? I know you always say that there's rural in urban India as well, but at this point in time, what's really moving in both these markets in terms of demand, and what's the driving factor that's actually affecting demand at this point in time?
See, for our business, we need to be clear that I'm going to repeat something even if it bores you a bit, that we have rural in urban and urban in rural. And the fact is that as long as you are very clear and you are going to have the right offering, I believe both have huge potential to grow, and that's what we have seen in the last 2 years, 18 and 19, where we have got balanced growth both in rural and urban. We don't have any stress of rural and urban. It's just that we have to have the right portfolio with the right OBPPC, and I feel we can really grow both these markets for the next many years to come.
So what is the right portfolio? You've been emphasizing on the right portfolio, having products across the 3 different price points, categories. What is the right portfolio at this point? Because it changes.
I personally believe we are really very strong in 3 categories at the moment. Basically sparkling, juice-based products, and finally hydration. So we have to construct a balanced portfolio for these 3 categories across the 3 segments we talked about. So if you take the segment where people are more interested in affordable products, you need to have a limited portfolio, but that straddles these three categories. If you take the middle segment, there where the core has always been done well, so we have to strengthen the core and keep working on the portfolio we have. It is the upper segment where people are willing to pay a higher price, where people look for a massive choice. And that is where we need to possibly have a slightly bigger portfolio so that you offer choice to people there.
Okay. And for Coca-Cola, which is the fastest growing market in the country at this point in time, north, south, east, west, the central region of the country, the Hindi belt, what's really working for Coca-Cola?
For us, as I started, all the regions are growing. It's a very sweet spot to be in. And as we are slowly starting to see India at an overall umbrella level, but at the same time, we are seeing various parts of India, and we are ensuring that we do the right thing in each part of India so that we not only get the benefit of the umbrella approach that we have, but also get benefit of the extra effort we put in by region.
Okay. Sir, also we've been seeing that there are a lot of regional brands that have come up over the years. They've been also increasing their own distribution, expanding in the neighboring geographies. How is that actually posing as competition for Coca-Cola? What is the advantage that you have? Because they've been also growing at a very fast pace. We have to accept that. How is it really working? What are you actually witnessing in terms of consumers? Are you also going to look at what these brands are doing to also tweak your own portfolio?
Basically, I think what's happening is a great thing for us. Because we really, as we discussed, we have a large beverage opportunity in which commercial beverages is a small part, in which the ready to drink is even a smaller part. Now the business is exploding, and as you know, we are moving from this umbrella approach for India down to the states, whereas the regional players are coming up from the states up. So it's a great thing that's happening because they are actually helping us in this process of converting unpackaged or non-paid beverages to ready-to-drink paid beverages. It's a great thing for us because as this business gathers steam, it's going to help us also to grow. We constantly look at what they are doing. There are a lot of learnings we get from them because being close to the market, they seem to have a much better fix in some parts of the country. So as we see them, we learn from them. I think business is not just about I have to discover everything. It's also about learning from others. So it's been very helpful. Second thing, what we have been able to do because of this great learning is now we have an incubation and commercialization process which is pretty crashed in terms of timing. We can do things in few weeks. We can get a product to the market. So it's helped us to become more agile. It has helped us to really take advantage of this big conversion which is happening thanks to some of the great work that the local players are doing.
Okay, so you've always spoken about the fruit circular economy, 11,000 crores invested in it since 2017. That's the amount that you have till 2022 with you. We have 5, you are now sourcing 5 fruits. What is the plan to bring in more fruits under the fruit circular economy? How are you going to expand with the fruit circular economy, and how are your offerings in the country also going to evolve with the new fruits that you add as well?
Perfect. See, we have really chosen these 5 fruits based on the existing size of fruit farming in a region and also the existing opportunity that we see in the end product. So we are constantly on the lookout for fruits which are grown in reasonable quantities in a state because that helps us to take off faster. And we also look at opportunities of the receptiveness of farmers and the NGOs in those places to really start working with them. Our thought process is somewhere down the line we want to be present with a fruit in every state so that we impact the whole country. So we constantly are looking around. There is no limitation. As we find something, we go ahead and do that. The way we are going to work it, I had already said, is that we're going to create a portfolio of juice-based products. But we are also looking at adding juice to our sparkling range, which gives a very delicious product. Like we have now Sprite Juicy, which is with lime juice, lemon juice. We have Fanta Juicy with orange juice. We have created Apple Sparkle, which has apple juice. And we have got Colors in the south, which is with black grape juice.
And also from your end, what are the kind of Indianized products that we see from the house of Coca-Cola in India? I believe buttermilk was one of the products that you were planning to launch. Is it? I believe it's in test phase right now. When do we see this national rollout?
I think this year we have buttermilk or chas. It'll roll out this year nationally. We also have had good success with our sparkling product Rimzim, which is a masala soda.
That's only for India?
That's only for India. It's not there anywhere else in the world. And that's also going to get scaled up this year. Some of our fruit-based offerings are also only for India. Colors, which is a grape juice-based product, is only for India. We've got a product called Apple Sparkle, which is again an Apple product, which is only made for India. So we have 4 or 5 offerings, of which 1 or 2 are looking very promising. I would say Rimzim is looking promising. We've had Colors, which is looking promising. And we in fact, since we are in Bengal, we've launched lychee in Bengal, and it's doing pretty well. Minute Maid lychee is doing pretty well here. So these are some of the local products which are showing a lot of promise.
Do we see products which are built or made for India and made in India actually being exported to other markets, which probably, there may be demand for it in other markets as well? I believe Thumbs Up and Maaza is what you're planning to take.
See, definitely Thumbs Up. Thumbs Up is something which has already gone.
Yeah.
It's already in Bangladesh. We are seriously looking at Nepal. And you would find Thumbs Up in most of the stores across the world because people like Thumbs Up. So it's one product which we believe, brand which we believe has got great potential. It's almost a $1 billion brand, so we propose to export it. We keep evaluating. I mean, I feel Rimzim also has an opportunity because a spicy soda is something which is very unique to India, which works well in India. But when we have tested out in some other countries in the region, they also seem to like it. So it's another product which we can look at. And of course, the mango is something which we are very happy to look at because India is the home of most mango growing, and we now have good expertise having built a large brand in India, so that is another possibility.
What is the price point for Rimzim at this point in time? Is it at the lower end?
It's at the lower end because masala soda we believe is more for the middle segment than the lower segment.
Okay. Sir, globally, Costa Coffee was acquired by Coca-Cola. In India, it is still being run by the franchisee. Going ahead, will that change over a period of time?
As of now, we are continuing whatever was there, and it seems to be working well.
Okay. And sir, lastly, if you could tell us what is 2020, the quarter that's almost done. I know we still have a month left, but what has it looked like, the first 2 months of this quarter?
See, 2020 looks bright to me. I mean, everything is in place. We've got our marketing stuff in place. We have our portfolio stuff in place. And as we speak today, we have created a localization in Bengal, which is all communication, everything in local connect basis. So we are pretty excited because all our stuff is ready to go. We signed KKR as the beverage partner. So I think 2020 for me looks like a great opportunity to repeat 2019.
But would we see more such, localization in terms of packaging? You started with Bengal today. Would that actually go to other markets?
See, we want to really, this is a very important effort that we want to do in our journey. We want to make Coca-Cola look very, very local so that we engage much better. Bengal is just a pilot for us. You would see us if once we understand, get the learnings, we do the corrections, you'd see us do this in Hindi across the country and then maybe local languages wherever it needs to be propped up.
Okay. And as much as you would not want to comment on this, but I will ask you, any plans on the M&A front from your end? Would you look at buying any local player? Because Coca-Cola is focused on being a beverage-only company. Hot beverages, Costa Coffee has worked out. Anything else in the pipeline for you that India has to offer at this point, which you can also take globally?
See, first and foremost, I normally don't comment on this, and I feel the opportunity is huge. What we keep adding every year, nobody else can add. Because we really believe India gives us that opportunity to organically do the right thing and organically create a very efficient business which gives consumers the maximum value. So I'm a strong proponent that organic progress is fantastic for us and there is no need for us to look and get distracted.
On the recycling front, James Quincy also said recently that, you're looking at for every bottle sold that it will come back and you'll recycle it and, it'll become a pet food container that you look at. How is this going to be implemented? Is this already into implementation in India? Do you see that consumers will come back with these bottles to actually recycle them? How will you actually roll this program all over India?
See, first just to set the context right, almost 90 to 95% of these bottles are anyway picked up and sent for recycling. But we have started work in right earnest in this whole program in 2018. So as we speak, we have 25 material recovery centers across the country with help from UNDP and the local municipality, and we are already collecting not just our PET bottles. We have collected all types of plastics equivalent of 35,000 tons, which actually takes care of, equivalent of 35,000 tons, right, which takes care of 35% of our use of PET bottles. So the idea is that by 2023 to really take this up to 100%. While this effort till now has been spearheaded only by us in collaboration with some of our partners, we have September last year created, with the help of all players in the beverage industry and in the plastics industry, product producers responsibility organization, which with the help of an NGO is going to scale this up. And we are doing a lot of work with the help of everybody to scale it up. The idea is not even go up to 2023, but even lesser time. But also the idea is to take the entire plastic waste rather than being just concentrating on our PET bottles, which anyway have very good commercial value and it gets collected on its own. So I am very confident by 2023 we'll do that. That is one leg of what we are doing. The second one, we keep taking plastic out of our bottle and lightweight it. The third one is we are working with a whole lot of stakeholders to see whether we can use recycled PET resin in making our bottles. The dream is at some time that we can recycle our PET bottle into another PET bottle to sell beverage, which would be a complete circular way of doing it, which also reduces a lot of footprint and creates a very sustainable circular approach to handling PET.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
According to a recent